Moreover, the information sought by the subpoenas is wildly disproportionate to the needs of the case and unnecessarily invades the privacy of untold numbers of third parties, including family, friends, business partners, and quite literally any other person with whom any of the targets have communicated with over a period of years.
6 in this lawsuit says the dangerous climate of threats, harassment, and intimidation fueled by the defendant's retaliation campaign has required Ms. Lively to alter her personal and professional life.
The Justin versus Blake fiasco continues to have the internet in flames, with everyone waiting to see each side's latest moves in this PR storm. So, what's the update? And how has Team Blake been doing with the rapidly unfurling, damning evidence against her? She seems to have a few ideas, one of which involving a fellow actress filing an absolutely ridiculous lawsuit. Public sentiment has mostly been on Justin Baldoni's side the past few weeks, because although fans were first all for defending Blake, especially considering she was supposed to be the victim, she quickly revealed she's not as nice as she seems. And the receipts Justin came out with made people lose more and more hope. Megyn Kelly had a pretty straightforward way of narrating the story.
And Brian Friedman knows how to fight back against a bully. Trust me. And he started telling everybody Justin Baldoni's side. He told us that Justin Baldoni denied those claims of sexual harassment and only tried to appease Blake Lively because she was such a high-maintenance diva bully brat. He had to bend over backwards just to get her to shut up and complete the film. He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it. I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully.
Megyn said Blake has a god complex, evident in her calling herself Khaleesi from the Game of Thrones. She pointed out what Justin claimed, saying that while she might say she was just talking about how those close to her are very supportive of her, it was a thinly veiled threat that is fooling no one.
And what they showed is that Blake Lively has got a bit of a god complex. She's texting Justin Baldoni about how she sees herself as Khaleesi from Game of Thrones, Mother of Dragons. Did you watch that? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So Khaleesi is stunningly beautiful. She's this effervescent, strong character with temerity and resilience, and she's fierce. She's literally the Mother of Dragons in Game of Thrones. That's her. That's me. That's Blake. And she says, and I've got the greatest dragons on earth, Ryan Reynolds, and my best friend, who is Taylor Swift, though she's not named or they blacked it out. So she's telling him, I'm Mother of Dragons and my dragons will cut a bitch. And my dragons are named Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. So the message is pretty clear.
A behavioral analyst even came out to talk about Blake's claim about Justin acting inappropriately during a scene that was not being audio recorded, though Justin later released a scene. He explained that the entire point of the scene was to seem as though the movie characters were having a close moment.
As soon as camera was called out, she's talking to him as Blake, trying to give a directive note. She started that, and he just followed her lead and explained, no, it's okay with the light behind me, it looks good, and so on and so on. Another really interesting thing about that moment is as he explains to her that it's nice for him to be in front of the light, and when he blocks it, he leans in and he gets really close to her ear and he almost like whispers it to her very softly. And we might look at that and go, why did he say it like that? Why didn't he just tell her? And there's a very good reason for this. They're both very aware of the fact that we're only going to use the visuals of this, not what they're saying. So to get this shot, their body language needs to communicate, Ryle and Lily having this slow dance, but it's okay to be talking about other stuff as long as they could get the visuals across.
So Justin was not acting inappropriately. He was literally just doing his job, because while the audio is very casual, it was the visuals that were supposed to be used in the movie.
This is very common in Hollywood productions. I can't tell you how often I filmed projects either as a consultant or in front of the camera, and when we were filming something that we knew only the visuals matter, we need to communicate something visually, we're talking about completely unrelated stuff, as long as we know the visuals get across. So in this case, he's following her lead. She started talking about, they're dancing. She started talking about where they should stand, and he just responded while still giving the camera the visuals that they need for this Lily and Ryle slow dance.
Though he did stay impartial and pointed out that she didn't seem entirely comfortable, so maybe she had a point. But others have pointed out that that was why having an intimacy coordinator was so important, something she actually refused.
Here it's a little tense. We're also seeing on her face this little bit of a faint smile, but there is tightness around the nose and around the mouth, and it doesn't look like a super relaxed smile. And finally, we do see that she is a little leaned back, and at first, he's a little more leaned towards her. But the moment he notices this kind of bit of a disengagement, notice what he does. He also disengages. So what we're seeing here is a dance, pun intended, where she's saying something, he's leaning in to whisper in her ear, she's backing up, he's backing up in response.
Things got worse when Ryan Reynolds made a joke about the lawsuit on SNL, with many left scratching their heads because who makes a joke if your wife was in fact harassed and it wasn't even scripted?
Now, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively have been in the news a lot, and Ryan Reynolds, we want to know, was that an improv or was it scripted, his little piece he did?
That was actually, he had a different line in rehearsal and he pitched that to replace it. So that was his idea to do it.
It was Ryan's idea. I just don't know. I feel like we deserve something. We deserve an award for just sniffing that out. Like, he is a true thoroughbred narcissist.
Team Blake also filed a subpoena asking for Justin Baldoni's phone messages to be made available to him so that they can find evidence supporting their claims.
Earlier this week, the Lively parties issued subpoenas to cellular providers AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, seeking, quote, all documents concerning ingoing and ongoing calls or text messages related to phone number, and then it's blocked out, belonging to each of the individual Wayfarer parties, some of their employees, and various non-party individuals, including but not limited to call logs, text logs, data logs, and cell site location information. The subpoenas seek such information over a period of multiple years, in most cases spanning from December 1st, 2022 to the present. It is hard to overstate how broad, invasive, and atypical these subpoenas truly are. This is civil litigation, not a criminal prosecution, and the Lively parties are not the FBI. Yet the subpoenas seek not only the complete call and text history of each of the targets over a period of several years, no matter the sender, recipient, or subject matter, but also over the same period, real-time location information and data logs reflecting, among other things, web browsing history. This would include, of course, materials protected from disclosure by a laundry list of statutes and privileges.
Now that Blake's team has filed an amended complaint, everyone was waiting to see if there would be groundbreaking evidence involved. But there wasn't. For one, they seem to have tried to take comments out of context to make Justin seem like he has a history of being untoward with the women in his life.
In public, Mr. Baldoni gave the appearance of taking responsibility for the fact that he had, quote, unconsciously been hurting and silencing women in his life, and implored men to be man enough to, quote, shut the hell up and listen to women. He claimed that he wanted to end toxic masculinity, acknowledging his own toxic behavior by admitting that, quote, there is a woman or two that I in some way made uncomfortable by saying something or doing something that was chauvinistic or sexist. There is 1,000,000% probability that that exists.
Candace Owens pointed out how they had added unrelated dialogue in a legal document that had virtually nothing to do with the subject matter.
I've had to take a real honest look at the ways that I've unconsciously been hurting the women in my life. And it's ugly. My wife told me that I had been acting in a certain way that hurt her and not correcting it. Basically, sometimes when she would go to speak, at home or in public, I would just cut her off mid-sentence and finish her thought for her. It's awful. The worst part was that I was completely unaware when I was doing it. It was unconscious. So here I am doing my part, trying to be a feminist, amplifying the voices of women around the world, and yet at home, I am using my louder voice to silence the woman I love the most. So I had to ask myself a tough question. Am I man enough to just shut the hell up and listen?
Candice also talked about how the complaint had added Justin talking about holding men accountable as though he was admitting to his own mistakes, even though the clip was from an interview where he was asked about his character in the It Ends With Us movie.
What do you want men to take away from this film?
I want men, first of all, I want men to stop asking the question, why do women stay?
Yeah.
Right? I want men to take accountability. I want men to hold other men accountable. And in this particular film, I want men to go to the theater and in some way see a version of themselves. You know, you have two very different characters. Both of them, in Atlas and Ryle, have had past trauma. One handles it very different than the other. And my other hope is that the men who have not done the work, who have not done the work to heal, if they see bits of themselves in Ryle, have a chance to step back and say, you know what, I don't want to blow up my life. I don't want to hurt the person I love the most. I need to get help. I need to feel all these things that I've buried so deep down so that it doesn't explode on somebody that I love. And hopefully that can create some compassion and empathy and make the world a safer place.
Candice Owens has also called out the new document's manipulative language, saying that she's trying to explain away why there's no one else publicly taking her side.
6 in this lawsuit says the dangerous climate of threats, harassment, and intimidation fueled by the defendant's retaliation campaign has required Ms. Lively to alter her personal and professional life and to take steps to protect innocent bystanders rather than exposing them to further harm. So she's now using this to explain away why no one's joining in on her lawsuit, okay? They're setting that up right at the beginning. Essentially, no one's gonna join in, but just so you know, this is to protect them. I'm gonna explain to you why that's absolutely BS. It goes on and reads, thus, this amended complaint does not refer to certain witnesses by name, nor does it provide screenshots of their text messages. Importantly, however, these witnesses have given Ms. Lively permission to share the substance of their communications in this amended complaint as contained herein, and they will testify and produce responsive documents in the discovery process. Okay, let's just pause to make sure everybody understands what's happening here because they think we are so stupid, okay? I'm not gonna include them in here because I'm gonna protect them. But down the line, I'm gonna subpoena them and force them against their will, which means that they are not willing participants and that you don't have their support, because the reality is you can compel them to testify, okay?
Many have pointed out that Blake's lawsuit is basically just trying to gaslight the public into taking her side, now bringing up the fact that another actress had filed a complaint against Justin.
Bossy Blake said that another actress had filed a complaint, making it seem that it was about Baldoni. However, that actress was Jenny Slate, and according to The Hollywood Reporter, it had nothing to do with Justin Baldoni. Her complaint was against his producing partner, Jamie Heath. I'm gonna read this briefly because the wording matters. Quote, it stemmed from an interaction with Heath about the apartment Slate had rented in New York City, where It Ends With Us was shooting. Slate, who has a toddler, told him, his producing partner, she wasn't thrilled with the space she had rented, but that moving wasn't an option because she didn't want to lose the sizable security deposit, around $15,000. Heath informed Slate that Wayfarer, his production company, would reimburse her for the lost security deposit so she could find better accommodations. But apparently, he made the offer using language that made Slate uncomfortable. Sources say he focused intensely on the sanctity of motherhood and Slate's role as a mother.
Except she hadn't. She hadn't even filed a complaint against Justin's producing partner, as it was originally reported. The Hollywood Reporter, who originally reported on the issue, had to update their information 3 whole times.
They said that Slate, quote, filed a complaint to the film's distributor, Sony, about the incident. Turns out she did not. The Hollywood Reporter amended their article online and changed the wording from, she filed a complaint to the film's distributor, Sony, about the incident, and then it was changed to, quote, word got back to Sony, the film's distributor. According to sources, Sony then informed Wayfarer about it. And Literally today, The Hollywood Reporter amended the article one more time, and the wording was changed yet again. It now reads, and I literally a moment ago went and checked, as of this second that I'm uploading the video, it reads, quote, according to sources, Sony became aware of Slate's concerns and informed Wayfarer about them.
The Hollywood Reporter came out to say that they had to change the article due to a technical glitch, which had caused an earlier version to be uploaded. But was that the actual truth?
You know what really happened here? First, the truth was exposed. Meaning, The Hollywood Reporter initially shared that Jenny Slate filed a complaint. They were given bad information. They then changed that on their website, and then they changed it yet again. But the changing is not a good look for the hair care professional. This, that we now know, weakens her case because Jenny Slate did not file a complaint either against Baldoni or his producing partner. And the Basement Banisher is trying to make it seem like there were multiple reported incidents and complaints of inappropriate behavior with not just her, but with other cast members.
Overall, things have been extremely inconsistent in Team Blake's case, while Team Justin seems more able to put together an actual timeline of what's going on.
She puts in bold, none of the requested protections, her 17 points that she wanted, were tied in any way to Ms. Lively's creative input in the film. And they were made months before any discussions regarding the cut of the film. Oh, so you're saying you made the allegations first, and then you tried to make input and change the direction of the film. Are you saying that the chicken had to come before the egg? Yes, sweetie, the chicken had to come before the egg. Obviously, it was because you made these demands and 17 points which made no sense, and which Brian Freeman went through and thoroughly debunked these points. We've read the messages, sweetheart, okay? We know you said no to the intimacy coordinator. We know that it made no sense that you were then saying there must be an intimacy coordinator on set at all times. And so yes, first you're gonna make the sexual harassment threat, and then you're gonna go, as you guys did, and they proved in the background, I want this, I want that. If I don't get what I want, I'm not going to show up. He has to be put into the basement.
As things start getting worse for Team Blake, she's now trying to get a stronger protective order than the one the court has already granted, allegedly in a bid to protect what's left of her reputation, because the court of public opinion is convinced that if her texts get publicized, she'll be the one going down.
Depositions and discovery are to come, and Taylor Swift. And others, but Taylor Swift. Seems that her former bestie is really worried about, let's say, text messages between her and the global pop superstar getting out there. So, as part of the Woody Allen apologist's request for additional protections, she and her legal team are asking for an attorney's eyes only category.
Of course, she's claiming she wants the order to protect her family.
The A-lister, in her own mind, insists that the court has good cause to adopt the proposed extra protective order, explaining, quote, as detailed in Miss Lively's amended complaint, Miss Lively, her family, and other members of the cast, various fact witnesses, and individuals that have spoken out publicly in support of Miss Lively have received violent, profane, sexist, and threatening communications.
Blake's publicist, on the other hand, is now trying to get out unscathed from the issue by asserting that they had nothing to do with it.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' publicist is asking to be dropped from Justin Baldoni's lawsuit. Weeks after Justin filed a defamation complaint against his It Ends With Us co-star Blake and her husband Ryan in response to her sexual harassment and retaliation lawsuit against him, and named their publicist Leslie Sloan as a co-defendant, the Vision PR owner filed a motion on February 20th to dismiss his countersuit.
But how's everything going to go down? And who's going to come out on top of this PR and court battle? Let's wait and see. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. That's it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the stories that shape entertainment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.